Good morning. I'm the Uncle John that Ron was referring to. My wife Shirley and I moved to Phoenix. I got out of the Navy in 1967. I believe it was July, and we moved to Phoenix in August. I was enrolled in school at Grand Canyon University, which at the time was college, and I met Don shortly thereafter. He and Hilda had just started dating. We had one child and a second one on the way, so my wife was out to here for Don and Hilda's wedding. But from the very start, Don befriended me, I guess, in the way that relatives usually do. You've all heard the saying, the in-laws done made outlaws out of me. Well, for an in-law, Don and I got along very well, as did the rest of the families, of course. And during the time I was in school, we didn't have a lot of money. We had a lot of love, and that was about it. My wife, after the birth of our second child, started teaching school here and managed to get me through the rest of school. But the point of this is that Don and Hilda and Shirley and I spent many evenings together, especially on weekends. We purchased a dine-out card. Some of you might be familiar with those, the 2-for-1 meal cards at various restaurants throughout the valley, and that way we could afford to go out and have a decent meal. But we played a card game. The pastor was talking about being taught how to play hand and foot. We had a game we called Hell. Some of you might be familiar with that, but the object of the game is to get the card out of the middle or put your card on the one in the middle before the other person can get to it. And if two people happen to have the same card in their hand, you could end up with scratches or bruises on the back of your hand. But we had a lot of fun with that. And over the years, we still remain close. I spent many years in the military. I retired in 1982. But we lived in Virginia on a lake, and Hilda and Don came back quite often. When the boys were growing up, they would bring them. After the boys were up and on their own, then it was just the two of them, and we were back and forth. But the thing that stands out in my mind most about Don Stegner is his level temperament, I guess you would call it. He very seldom had anything bad to say about anyone. He was always there when you needed him. A lot of people you can look at, and you can go back and pull one or two incidents from their life that kind of defines them. And Don wasn't that way. He always worked in the background. He never wanted a lot of publicity for the things he did. And I guess 48 years that I've known him now, we never really had a serious disagreement. His faith was always strong, his beliefs and things he articulated very well, and it's just, it's just the kind of guy that I guess melds into the woodwork. You don't notice him until he's not there. And I really feel like you folks in this church are going to miss him dearly. I know we will, and this celebration of his life is very appropriate because Don chose the time of his death. You all know that he went through a very hard time with his dialysis for the last 9 years, and then when you add the heart problems and the other things that go along with it, he was just tired. And he knew where he was going. So, to him, he made the decision, and once he made that decision, he was happy. He was happy with that. So I say to you today, remember Don as he was here. He was kind, giving, loving, and I think probably the last few years of his life, that became harder for him to do that because of the physical pain he was going through and the restrictions on his lifestyle. But in my heart, Don will always be a favorite in-law, and I know he's much happier where he is now.